money, with your personal money. You face foreclosure on a second home that you bought, and just last year you liquidated a $68,000 retirement fund. That's something that cost you thousands of dollars in taxes and penalties.
You just listed a litany of discredited attacks from Democrats and my political opponents.
The headlines about Marco Rubio being completely broke lands like a thunderclap in the world of politics, where wealth and power often go hand in hand. How does a prominent Republican figure, known for his middle-class appeal and rising influence, find himself in such financial turmoil? The answer lies in a story that feels both deeply personal and strikingly universal. His life has been shaped by financial struggles that many Americans know all too well: student debt, impulsive spending, and questionable financial decisions. From humble beginnings to financial headaches, Marco Rubio's story begins in modest surroundings, a household where every dollar was carefully stretched. Growing up as the son of a bartender and a maid, Rubio was introduced early to the realities of financial hardship. In a home where money was scarce, the lessons learned were practical, budgeting for everyday necessities rather than engaging in the complex world of investments or credit management. These early experiences not only shaped his perspective on money, but also instilled in him a resilience that later became a cornerstone of his political identity. Entering adulthood, Rubio faced the daunting challenge of financing higher education, with a combined student debt reportedly reaching around $100,000 from his undergraduate and law school studies. He encountered the same financial burdens that many middle-class families know all too well. Despite his determination, the lack of early exposure to sophisticated money management meant that Rubio was often navigating the financial world on his own. This struggle culminated in a series of choices that soon became public fodder. His early financial missteps, though painful at the time, eventually came to symbolize a shared American experience. For many voters, Rubio's challenges with student loans and budgeting reflect the real-life struggles that have become all too common in a society where financial literacy is rarely taught in schools. These experiences, although initially setbacks, also laid the groundwork for Rubio's political narrative. They provided him with a unique vantage point, one that many voters found both honest and relatable. Rather than hiding behind the trappings of wealth, Rubio's candid acknowledgement of his early miscalculations resonated with everyday Americans who too had faced their own fiscal hardships. This authenticity, emerging from a background marked by economic constraints, set him apart in a field of candidates who often appeared disconnected from the financial realities of the average citizen. The costly missteps.
Marco Rubio has a disaster on his finances. He has a disaster on his credit cards.
While his early life was defined by frugality, Marco Rubio's later years were punctuated by a series of high-profile financial missteps. Perhaps the most jaw-dropping was his decision to splurge on an $80,000 luxury speedboat, a purchase that, in retrospect, seemed more like a misguided attempt at indulgence than a necessary investment. In a striking example of poor financial judgment, Rubio also cashed out a $68,000 retirement plan to cover routine expenses like a new refrigerator and minor home repairs. The decision not only deprived him of the benefits of compound interest over time, but also incurred hefty penalties and taxes, undermining his long-term financial security. Adding to his extravagances was Rubio's controversial use of credit. Over the course of 4 years, his Republican Party American Express card racked up $182,000 in charges, including 73 items that totaled $22,000 for personal expenditures, from hotel bills to even seemingly trivial purchases like flowers. In today's world, where every swipe of a credit card can significantly impact one's financial health, such a pattern of spending speaks volumes about a broader lack of fiscal discipline. Then there was the ill-fated sale of a jointly owned Tallahassee investment property. Facing foreclosure due to 5 consecutive months of missed mortgage payments, the property was sold at a loss, a stark reminder that even those who achieve political prominence can falter when faced with everyday financial obligations. For many Americans, these missteps are painfully familiar: impulsive purchases, mismanaged credit, and the consequences of stretching one's finances too thin. Rubio's financial record, laden with errors that mirror common mistakes, ultimately paints the picture of a man who, despite his ambitions, struggled to keep his personal finances in order. Comparative wealth. In a debate stage crowded with candidates boasting net worths in the billions, or at least several $million, Marco Rubio stands out, quite literally, as the candidate with a net worth that pales in comparison. Estimates place his wealth somewhere between a meager $100,000 and $443,000, a figure that is almost laughably modest when contrasted with the financial empires of his peers like Donald Trump or Carly Fiorina. This stark disparity not only highlights his personal financial mismanagement, but also plays into a broader narrative of relatability. For the average American, Rubio's struggles are not an anomaly, but a reflection of their own financial battles, while his opponents flaunt vast fortunes accumulated over generations or through shrewd business dealings. Rubio's story is one of hard-earned lessons and genuine fiscal hardships. It's precisely this contrast that has boosted his appeal among voters. In debates and public appearances, when Rubio speaks about student debt and the challenges of managing a modest income, his words resonate with a constituency that often feels ignored by the financial elite. And the narrative of being the underdog financially has inadvertently become a badge of honor. It tells voters that he understands what it means to work hard for every dollar, to make tough choices, and even to falter along the way. Instead of distancing himself from his financial past, his willingness to expose and even laugh at his own mistakes creates a connection with those who have had similar experiences. In a political environment where wealth is often equated with success, Rubio's decidedly modest net worth offers an alternative perspective, one that champions authenticity over opulence. A turnaround, or temporary relief. Not all of Rubio's financial decisions have been missteps destined for public ridicule. A turning point in his monetary journey came with the publication of his memoir, An American Son. The book deal reportedly brought in $800,000, nearly 4.5 times his annual Senate salary at the time, providing him with a rare moment of financial reprieve. This influx of cash allowed Rubio to finally address some of his long-standing debts, including the student loans that had haunted him since his college days. The memoir not only chronicled his personal struggles, but also served as a symbol of overcoming adversity, reinforcing the narrative that anyone, regardless of background, can achieve success through perseverance. However, this financial boost was not a cure-all for Rubio's fiscal woes. Despite the temporary relief provided by the book deal, his overall net worth has stubbornly remained in the negative. The very public nature of his financial turnaround and the subsequent inability to fully rebound only deepens the intrigue surrounding his personal money management. Critics argue that while the memoir's earnings provided a short-term fix, they did little to change the underlying habits that led to years of financial instability. This moment of seeming recovery raises an important question. Is Rubio's newfound financial stability sustainable or merely a temporary patch on a legacy of fiscal mismanagement? Broader implications.
What I said was that I would do differently is I just wouldn't have done any personal things on it because I would have avoided all that confusion that it's created in the minds of some, but it's been coming up for 5 years, so it's not a new issue.
Beyond the headline-grabbing missteps and temporary turnarounds lies a broader narrative that touches on issues of public policy and financial literacy. Rubio's personal financial saga has inadvertently set the stage for discussions about the importance of sound money management, but not just for individuals, but for the nation as a whole. His proposals, such as the Student Investment Plan, aim to address systemic issues like student debt and inadequate financial education, offering innovative yet controversial solutions to long-standing problems. Rubio's journey from financial struggle to political prominence is emblematic of a larger cultural moment. Voters are increasingly skeptical of candidates who appear detached from the realities of everyday economic hardship. Now it's time to hear from you. Does Rubio's candid recounting of fiscal missteps resonate with your own experiences? Let us know in the comments section below.